Blake Shelton is not the man the cameras invented. The world sees the towering Oklahoma giant with the crooked grin, the judge on a hit singing competition, the superstar whose voice fills arenas effortlessly, 30 #1 singles, 9 Grammy nominations, a television career that made him a household name, an empire built not in boardrooms, but in the red dirt of Oklahoma. One handshake, one chorus, one honest word at a time. But that version is only half the story. Behind the laughs and stadium-sized charm is a man shaped by grief, by nights that stretched too long, and mornings that demanded more than he could give. A man who leaned on food and alcohol to shield himself from loss, a brother gone too soon, a father taken by time, a marriage shattered under the spotlight. This is the true cost of fame, measured not in dollars, but in peace, health, and honesty. The man who seemed unstoppable looked different, fuller, quieter, vulnerable. The truth wasn't a single event, but decades of choices, grief swallowed, habits formed in heartbreak, and a body finally refusing the life it had been given. How does a man that strong end up broken? And how does he rise again? Blake's story begins in Ada, Oklahoma, a small town of 17,000, where values are simple. Work hard, love family, stay honest, never forget where you came from. Born June 18, 1976, to Dorothy and Dick Shelton, Blake was the youngest of 3, carrying music in his bones. By 12, he learned guitar. By 15, he wrote his first song. By 16, he'd won Oklahoma's Denbo Diamond Award. But music was not all. His older brother Richie shaped him more than anyone else. Then, on November 13, 1990, Richie, 24, died in a car accident with his girlfriend and her young son. Blake, 14, described it as the world going silent. His father's words would stick, "You will never get over this. You just have to learn to live with it." Blake carried that grief, learning that it couldn't be solved, only absorbed. At 17, Blake left Ada for Nashville, chasing the music that made silence bearable. Years of rejection and odd jobs tested him, but every song and stage was a step toward reclaiming his life. His first big break came from a chance encounter with songwriter Mae Axton, which led producer Bobby Braddock to discover him in 1998. Braddock brought him to Giant Records, where Blake's debut single, Austin, almost didn't happen. After initial hesitation and the label's shutdown, Warner Brothers Nashville rescued the single. By August 2001, Austin was #1 for 5 weeks. Blake Shelton had arrived. Success came fast, and so did Nashville's drinking culture. Blake embraced it, making his redneck drinker image part of his persona. The Voice, 2011, made him a cultural icon. 9 winning teams, 28.5 matters a year. But the drinking continued. His second marriage to Miranda Lambert ended in 2015 under public scrutiny, leaving him at rock bottom. Then came Gwen Stefani. Both recovering from high-profile divorces, their friendship grew into love. They married in 2021 on Blake's Tishomingo Ranch. Ranch life removed the structure that had kept him disciplined. By 2023, he gained over 30 pounds, and cutting back on drinking was harder than expected. By 2024, Blake faced a reckoning. His New Year's resolution to cut back or quit drinking wasn't easy. At 250 lb, he realized change meant reshaping not just his body, but the version of himself he had long celebrated. Blake approached it sustainably. He cleaned up his diet, embraced lean proteins and vegetables, and returned to movement, starting with walks on the ranch and later boxing. Therapy helped him confront grief and stress without relying on alcohol. Slowly, he rewired his habits, connecting mental and physical health. Gwen Stefani was there, not as a disciplinarian, but as a partner who encouraged him, cooked alongside him, and prioritized his well-being over appearances. By early 2025, Blake had lost 30-40 lb, restoring his energy and vitality. Old habits lingered, but he was now running toward his health, not from it. Marriage to Gwen in 2021 brought not just love, but 3 stepsons, Kingston, Zuma, and Apollo. Blake embraced stepfatherhood with care and consistency, creating real, unstaged moments of connection. At the road finale in 2025, He shared a heartfelt stage moment with Zuma and Apollo. The Blake Shelton once defined by drinking and persona had transformed into a man defined by presence, honesty, and family, living fully on his Oklahoma ranch, performing, and showing up for those who mattered most. Blake Shelton has learned the balance of when to step in and when to step back, but he always shows up when he's needed. By early 2026, he had found a pace that fit him. His Las Vegas residency at the Coliseum at Caesar's Palace, which ran through January 2026, sold out instantly. The shows were so popular, he added 8 more dates for May, announcing it the most Blake Shelton way possible, riding a Kubota tractor down the Las Vegas Strip and handing the keys to a valet. The crowd loved it, and more importantly, he loved performing on his own terms, free from the relentless schedule of 23 seasons of The Voice. His statistics speak for themselves: 31 #1 singles, 52 million singles sold, 13 million albums sold, nearly 11 billion global streams. But the number that mattered most in early 2026 was his latest chart topper, making him the second most successful artist in country airplay history, behind only Kenny Chesney, a record as much Ada, Oklahoma's, as it is his. Blake's show, The Road, which completed its first season in December 2025, reflects his values: hard work, grit, and the unvarnished reality of being a musician. 12 artists compete as opening acts for Keith Urban, night after night, in front of real crowds who decide their fate. No polish, no spectacle, just truth and effort. Health remains an ongoing commitment. The weight he lost has held. Exercise is now a daily ranch routine, and conversations about alcohol remain honest, imperfect, and human. Even the sun damage from decades of Oklahoma life requires monitoring, a reminder that the lifestyle he loves carries costs. He pays attention now. Richie's shadow is always present, the brother whose death in November 1990 left a silence Blake could never fully fill. That grief still surfaces in Moments with Zuma on November 13th each year, in old songs. But carried honestly, it no longer controls him. In 2026, Blake Shelton is a man who carries life with honesty. The silence from that tragic day never left, but he has filled it with the right things: Gwen, his stepsons, Kingston, Zuma, and Apollo, the ranch, the music, and yes, even the tractor down the Vegas Strip. Underneath it all, he's still the boy from Ada, just a healthier, wiser, and more honest version of himself. And now the question is yours. What does Blake Shelton's story teach you about health, grief, and the kind of strength that doesn't need an audience? Share your thoughts below.